Hey everyone, if you're tuning in or if you're watching this in the future, same difference at this point. Evan's going to be joining me shortly. He's finishing up something and taking off his socks. We are going to do a nice chill restorative class today. So very gentle yoga, more focused on getting the shoulders a little more open, getting that back moving a little bit, and opening up those hips slightly. Well, opening the hips in general, because most of us are still spending a lot of time at like the non-ergo kitchen counter or kitchen table or the couch, and there's still a lot of this going on. So we're going to focus really on opening up the chest, getting the shoulders going, and getting those hips in a nice comfortable position. So hopefully I got some blocks nearby because I finally rooted out some of the blocks that I had in a back closet. We also have some books just in case, so books or blocks. And we have our handy dandy behind us, rolled up towels and blanket in a pillowcase to act as our bolster today.
Want the backlights off?
That's fine.
Okay.
So, you're going to start in a comfortable seat. You can sit however's comfortable for you. I tend to go a little bit crisscross applesauce because that's comfortable for me. You don't have to do it that way. Or a half lotus variation, which is what I'm taking. Stefan is going more traditional with the crisscross. And I just want you to wiggle it out here. So get some fidgets out. Allow your eyes to close or take that soft gaze. I'm a big fan of getting fidgets out while or before I start moving into a more meditative practice. It's just a way to give a body scan. Okay, wiggling out. I notice my shoulders are a little tight, so I might roll my shoulders a little more. Give myself a little trunk twisties. Nothing insane, just more kind of wiggling and noticing how your body is feeling. Any wrist circles, finger circles.
Here.
And you are welcome to set an intention for your practice. I'm going to stick with offering the idea of laughter. I believe very heavily laughter is something that helps with so much in our day-to-day lives. And that can be your laughter. It could be maybe you have a newborn that is just starting to giggle, because that is an amazing sound. Maybe it is something your dog did, your kid did, something that has made you laugh. And it can be like that kind of chuckle where you know you shouldn't be laughing because your kid did something a little wrong, but it's still funny. And you don't want to encourage it. It could be the full-on belly laugh that maybe has you doubled over and clutching your sides. That is my offering for you. You can also opt to give yourself a mantra of I am enough, I am kind, I am strong. Or better yet, I am present. Learning to be present in that current moment. It could just be counting. Whatever helps you get through your practice, get through the rest of your day today. As you inhale, allow yourself to fidget. As you exhale, settle the shoulders down. Inhale, maybe you wiggle your toes, and on your exhale, feel your sits bone, butt bone press down into the ground. Maybe you burp, because it happens. On your inhale, feel yourself getting tall, getting big, filling the chest, filling the belly, and on your exhale, feel yourself settle. A few more breaths here. I'm going to bump a little bit out of the way so Stefan can be a little bit more front center. On your inhale, you can keep your eyes closed or take a soft gaze. Inhale, just a big reach up overhead. Just stretch really tall like you're trying to grab onto the ceiling. You can wiggle your fingers. Really feel yourself lift out of that rib cage. Another breath or two here. And on your exhale, we're going to twist towards the right, allowing the left hand to come down to your right thigh. Right hand come behind you. You can press through your hand. So rather than just kind of chilling out, you can tent your fingertips behind your right hand fingertips behind you. Think more of lifting up and pressing through the ground. And on your exhale, twisting a little deeper. Stefan's going to demo pretty much everything today, so I can focus more on talking. 2 to 3 more breaths here. Again, with any posture, if you want more time, you take more time. If you want less time, cool, just meet back in our previous position. So on your next inhale, we're just going to untwist, big reach up overhead, just getting tall, reaching the fingers up. And on your exhale, twist towards the left, right hand coming down to your left thigh, left hand coming behind you. Again, your palm can be on the mat, on the ground, or mat behind you, or you can come up onto your fingertips. Thinking of lifting up through your spine. And on your exhale, twisting a little deeper. You don't have to look forward. Although that ramen might be coming back to bite you, right? A few more breaths here. Next posture, I'm going to have you pivot to where you're facing the camera. Okay. On your next inhale, just big untwist, big reach up overhead. If you want, you can intertwine your fingers together and press your palms to the ceiling. Just getting nice and tall. Hands can come down here. Stefan, if you'd pivot for us. So, get out of the light for this one. We're going to start by intertwining your fingers at your low back. And you're going to roll the fist down as your shoulders come down, gaze lifts. No, this. Roll here. Like you're trying to press your knuckles into the mat. Roll your fist down.
This.
Yep. Are you getting a stretch along the front part of your shoulder?
My wrists.
Chin can stay tucked here, or you can lift your gaze. Whatever's feeling more comfortable. Lifting your gaze might make it a little harder to breathe, especially if you just had dinner.
Ramen.
Or ramen's coming back to haunt you. Another breath or two here. We're just trying to get some sensation in that upper part of your shoulder. When you're ready, you're going to release your hand, intertwine your fingers together in front of you, palms face out, curl that spine. Getting a nice stretch in that back. And on your inhale, release the pose and come into a tabletop. Switch knees. So move through cat and cow here. Curling your spine in like an angry cat, allowing the head to drop on your cat. Exhaling, pressing that belly down, tailbone point up, gaze come up. Move with breath here. We're going to be here for 8 to 10 breaths, just allowing your body to move through cat and cow. Getting a big abdominal stretch when you're going for your cow. And getting a big shoulder, upper back stretch when you're moving into your cat. You can even come up onto your fingertips to help press a little deeper into your cat. Get a little more shoulder. Did you get a little more shoulder when you did that?
Uh-huh.
Good. You good?
Yeah.
Another couple breaths here. If you want more, you take more. We're going to move into some shoulder circles in a moment. So you'll return to a neutral spine. And we're just going to start making wrist circles, shoulder circles, where the weight kind of shifts forward and we're getting a nice little stretch through the wrists here. Willow is letting us know someone is here.
Not UBS.
Bad if they came in with your barbell right now. For 5 to 8 in each direction, just 5 to 8 circles. Then we're going to bring our wrists together, fingertips point out like you're trying to make a little bat. Like the little bat. Or bird, shadow puppet. Or an alien face hugger, whatever. And start making circles here. That's going to get a little deeper into the wrists. Again, 5 to 8 circles in each direction.
Talk about crunchy knees.
Your knees crunching.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it. Knees get crunchy.
If your knees are kind of popping when you're rolling, it's okay as long as there's not pain.
Just cartilage.
Now, bring those hands back in underneath those shoulders. So we're coming back into that tabletop. Start making some chest circles here. So allow the chest to drop down. Yep. Couple circles in each, 4 to 5 circles each direction here. Keep going. I told you, laughter is one of my favorite things. When you've gone 5 to 8 in each direction, start bringing that movement into the hips. Allow the hips to drop to one side, scoot forward, bring up in that opposite direction. So, hips drop, scoop, hip, down.
Okay.
So making big hip circles. By allowing the hips to drop to one side or the other, you're going to get a little bit more of a stretch in that outer portion of your hip.
Just up the hands forward a little bit.
You move in accordance to what you need.
Okay.
Once you've done, again, 5 to 8, kind of an arbitrary number, just based on what feels good for you, we're going to move into a child's pose. With this child's pose, knees together, toes together. I'm going to fold forward over the knees. Keep your knees together, Stefan. Knees together.
Woman.
So you can make this as active or as passive as you need to. We're really badly backlit here. I'll flip off the light. That make it any better? Yeah, we're a little better.
Put the hand light next time.
That's fine. Child's pose is just a posture to allow your body to chill back out. So if at any point in any practice you feel like you need a chill out moment, you can take a child's pose. And your dog might come and see what's up with you.
Hey, pups.
We're going to move into puppy dog pose. So hips lift, hands walk out in front of you. Chest sinks down.
Very appropriate.
Hips stay lifted. This is going to give you a lot of sensation in that upper back. Yes, Willow. Hi, friend. Hands can walk to the right. Push your rib cage to the left. This is going to introduce some side body sensation. So you might be getting some stuff up into that armpit. You getting into the armpit?
You'll get there. Yep.
What are you doing? Please do not sit on. Please don't sit on stuff inside. If you need a few more breaths here, take a few more breaths here. We're going to switch directions when you're feeling comfortable. So hands will walk to the left, rib cage will push to the right.
A lot of crunches today.
Some people are crunchier than others. Oh, if you spend a lot of time around your desk and you get thrusters during lunch.
Yeah, dude.
Good for you. To get into the hips a little bit, we'll be in puppy dog pose for just a few more breaths. We will transition back into child's pose, but the variation we're going to take is where your feet are together, knees go out towards the edges of your mat. So when you're ready, feet together, knees out towards the edges of the mat, allow yourself to start to sink back. This will allow a little bit more sensation to the hips versus into that low back area. Willow is smelling your socks.
Amy.
A few more breaths here. I'm going to take us off our knees for just a little bit. So we'll move through tabletop to move into down dog. So when you're ready to move, transition into that tabletop posture. You good?
Yep.
Toes are going to curl under, hips lift first to down dog. There you go. And you can bend your knees as much as you need to help make this posture a little more accessible if your hamstrings are super tight.
Deadlifts.
Yay, deadlifts. You can pedal out your feet here. Drop, make it slow and determined so you're driving one heel down as you bend that opposite knee.
It was easier than talking around you at this point.
I'm not trying to talk over you.
When you're ready, right foot is going to step through between the hands. You're going for a low lunge here. So that back knee will drop, back toe curls under. If you're experiencing any knee pain, you can always fold over your mat or slide a towel underneath that left knee. Now the focus here is to just get a nice stretch. You can also play with a little bit of ankle. You've heard some of the classes. You already know some of the stuff I'm already going to say. And there you go. You can use a block. Mind you, a block is way more handy when it's this size versus a book. You can also use, we have a stool in the background that I've used before in different classes. You can use whatever's like a nice tall height. We have an Xbox box that could be used potentially, just as a suggestion. We're going to shift back to that runner's lunge. And at this point, Stefan is going to take the block with him so he can make his runner's lunge more accessible. Runner or half split, whichever one is your preference. And he's going to pivot so you can see what he's doing. Do you want the other block as well for your other hand?
No. Strong. I strong.
Yeah, think about holding forward here. Yeah. Your right hip pulls back, your left hip pushes forward, fold over your leg here. You can point and flex your toes and just see what feels better. By pulling your toes towards your face, you might get a lot more along your calf. By pointing your toes away from you might get a lot more into that upper part of your foot. It's going to be a lot of hamstrings, so if you were like us and waited to the very last minute to do the third workout from the quarantine open, your hamstrings might be a little tight today. Willow, hey, quit licking Stefan's socks. I don't.
I stole him.
Another few breaths here. Again, if this is a position that gives you a lot of grief, meaning like your hamstrings are really tight and this is not fun, you can always sit on a block to help make it a little more accessible. Or if like your hamstrings are crazy mobile, you are welcome to take it into a full split. I'm not going to try and do a full split right now. I am not warm enough for that. 4 to 5 more breaths here. Willow, you look very satisfied with yourself.
Hey, old girl.
And when you're ready to move, our dog just melted. It's very cute. We're going to transition into a lizard lunge. So weight will shift forward back through low lunge. The right foot's going to heel toe out of the way. Heel will stay in towards your body. Toes will point out. You can opt to give yourself a little more space by pressing on that knee. If you feel like folding over, you can use a bolster and a block to bring the world a little closer to you. And I'm going to adjust them because... So I'm only adjusting here by putting my foot along on the outside of his to keep it from shifting. So my toes are near his heel. And I'm just gently pressing his knee out.
Oh no.
Too much?
No, I'm just wondering how much more you clean down here. Impressive.
I've been cleaning a lot lately. A few more breaths. Again, if you want the twist, you can take the twist. I'm pretty much helping him do the twist.
Do the twist.
But when you're ready to move, we're going into pigeon pose. So, hands will walk in underneath your shoulders. Stefan kind of gets into pigeon a little differently than what I would do. But so you guys can see a different variation. No, that's fine. So your toes are towards your left wrist, knees are towards your right wrist. You need to back out of the posture a little bit because your hips are just way too tight for that to even feel remotely comfortable. You can pull your heel more towards your hip rather than going for a straight 90-degree angle. Not that far. But. Or you can go for a 90-90 stretch where both knees are bent at a 90-degree angle. This is a place where a block or a bolster can come in handy because I'm going to grab another block that I found. I'm going to put it underneath Stefan's hip to give himself a little bit of support here. His hands are on a block, which he has now moved out of the way and is now.
It's easier.
It depends.
The floor is flat.
We're going to be here for a few breaths. So if you need to do any like little tweaks and wiggles to settle yourself a little deeper as you breathe, go for it. Notice how your hips feeling. Come back to whatever has made you laugh because this also might not be your favorite posture in the world.
I've grown to like this posture over the years.
Yeah.
Very challenging at first, and then the more I did it, the more comfortable it got.
Because this looks very comfortable for you.
It is. Well, minus the tequila, gin, and ramen fighting over each other right now.
Few more breaths here. If you want more, you take more. As you need less, you can start using the next 3 to 4 breaths to start backing out. So you have 2 breaths to settle deeper, 2 breaths to back out, or Stefan already feels done with it.
I'm out.
So he's backing out. That's what I'm referring to when I say it's your posture. You good?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be moving back into down dog. So from pigeon, you're going to move into down dog.
So
there. Hands curl, hips lift. There you go. Very nice. Take a few breaths here. Notice how your right hip might feel compared to your left. Are we getting more or less iffy here?
We're trying to keep traction on the carpet.
Yeah. We're going to go low lunge on the left side. Left foot will step through between the hand. Back knee drops. Do what you need to here to make the posture feel comfortable. We're going to be here for a little bit. Whether that is supporting yourself by a block, wrapping your mat over to cushion that right knee. You need a burp, burp. If you need to adjust your hair, which tends to happen to me frequently, because I have so much hair to adjust. I'm going to be here for another 4 to 5 breaths. If you want longer, take longer. It's your practice. We're just here to kind of guide and help loosen you up a little. You all right? Mm-hmm. Any pain in that knee?
No pain. Just suppressing terrible puns.
You are a terrible pun.
Yeah. Got my business card.
We're going half split or runner's lunge when you're ready. Half split is going to have that back knee bent much more at a 90-degree angle. Stefan is demoing much more of a runner's lunge, where his hip makes more contact with his heel, and the focus can be more folding over rather than keeping your balance. There you go. So it's more of the chest coming down versus the forehead. What?
See what it look like.
Sometimes mirrors are helpful. Sometimes they can get people too much in their own head.
Just spot checking.
That left hip should pull back a little more as that right hip pushes forward. There you go. Tighter.
No, that tricep
Laughter.
It's a hallmark of our household. In your runner's lunge, half split. If you need to take it deeper, go ahead, take it deeper. If you are feeling too much in this posture and you kind of need a bit more of a break, feel free to take a break a little earlier on. If you're like, I feel nothing, go ahead, take it into a half split. You do you, boo-boo.
Also, while you're working your way into the lunge, if you feel that you need to start on a high block, but then need to kind of downshift into that position, start turning your block until you get comfortable and just kind of hang out there. That's what I do.
See, and I'm so mobile, I don't always think about stuff like that.
Yeah. Because you notice that when you start a stretch, at the onset, it's pretty tight and things aren't moving. Then as you start leaning in, your body starts to stretch like it does. You can go further. So you kind of have to adjust your block from a top to a side to a flat position.
Which I've done, spoken about that several times.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm
That's
sorry.
fine.
You need a perspective of a non-flexi person.
Nah.
Yeah.
We're going for that lizard lunge when you're ready. So again, take time. You can back out of the posture, move through low lunge. Yeah, because your lizard lunge looks very different than mine.
What I can do.
You can opt for a twist here. In this position, I've actually just stuck my foot next to Stefan's because our carpet likes to slide quite a bit. So I'm just trying to provide a little bit of traction for him. You can come to your forearms, you can come to your hands. Again, we're going to be here for a few breaths. Make yourself comfortable. And if, like Stefan was articulating earlier, if you need to take some time to sink deeper into your posture, spend a couple of breaths, then ease in a little further. Spend a few breaths there, ease in a little further. You starting to sweat?
I've been sweating. That's the tequila.
We are going to take it back to the wall mainly because I have him to use as a demo. Hopefully. Doesn't look like my battery's low from here.
You know what?
That's fine. If you need more time here, take it when you're ready. Pigeon pose, make your way into it however you need to. My suggestion is to walk your hands back in underneath your shoulders and heel toe that left foot across your body. So behind us, yep. Bring your toes towards your right wrist, knee towards your left wrist. So if you notice, you're fine. You can scooch. Can you scooch towards me just a little bit? So you can see your feet. So if you notice in this position here, Stefan has really brought his heel closer to his hip versus trying to get his shin parallel to the top of the mat or parallel to his hips. It's a way to make the posture a little more accessible. I'm also sticking a block underneath Stefan's bum and handing another block over if he needs it. Blocks, books, bolsters are all ways to make postures either more accessible or more difficult depending on what we're going for in our practice. This practice is all about making your life a little easier, a little bit more supported. Really getting a lot of sensation into that outer hip as you need to deepen the posture as you're settling in. Really think about pulling that left hip back as that right hip pushes forward. So you're trying to square your hips. Will just help get you a little deeper into the posture. A few more breaths here. When you're ready to move, we're going to make our way all the way onto our belly so you can come through down dog and lower all the way onto your stomach. So down dog, rolling into that high plank position, just lower all the way down to the ground here. Yay! Can I have you pivot?
What am I doing?
Pivot to face.
Ah, belly rub.
We're already moving to Sphinx pose. You need to scoot back further. That's where I was pulling you.
Move me to the burn unit. Oh, my belly.
Elbows are going to come underneath, so bring the elbows in like you're trying to imitate the Sphinx in Egypt. There you go. You're pressing through your forearms here, thinking about pulling the shoulders back, up, and back. Gaze can be forward or down towards the ground, so looking kind of like where the baseboard would be at. Baseboard.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Okay. This is just a very passive upper back stretch. Nothing super insane, super intense here. Getting a little something, but not a whole lot, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. On your exhale, everything's going to come down to the mat. And we're going to go twisted cross. So your left hand's going to stay in underneath your shoulder. That right arm is going to go long. We're going to roll over that right shoulder. Boom. You getting a lot in the shoulder?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So nice big chest stretch here. A few breaths here. Let me make sure my phone's on Do Not Disturb. And we're going to switch sides. So your legs will come over first, allowing your chest to roll back fully onto the mat. Right hand slides in, left arm slides out. We're going to roll over that left shoulder. Come out of the way. Few more breaths here. Again, if you need more time, take more time. If you are ready to back out of the posture, we're just going to be back on our bellies. So 2 to 3 more breaths. If you're done, you're done. That's fine. When you're ready to break the posture, right leg comes over, comes all the way back down to the mat. We're going to push back into child's pose here. There you go. Take whichever variation we did at the start that feels better for you. So either knees together or knees out towards the edges of your mat. Arms can be completely outstretched, really leveraging your upper body back towards your chest, meaning you're pressing through the base of your knuckles to make it a much more active child's pose. If you don't need an active child's pose today, just let your arms be heavy. Stefan doesn't need an active child today, so he's going to keep it nice and chill.
You're an active child.
Yeah. And we're going to push ourselves to where our hips are on our heels here. We're going to get a nice little plantar fascia stretch. So can I have you pivot? Yeah, either direction. So toes are down.
Your hip.
That was my knee. That popped. That was my knee that popped. And you're trying to add a little bit more weight, pressing through your toes as much as you can. This can allow for a big stretch in the arch of your foot. So you want to think about pressing your little pinky toes down into the mat, like you're trying to really press through the base of your toes, getting that pinky toe down. Big stretch in the, yeah, arch your foot. Feel it?
Feel all the toes right now.
This is one, hold as long as you can. When you are ready to break, lean forward, tap those feet out. Stefan's ready to break. He's done.
So you have a few seconds to break. You get one more push.
That's fine. I'm going to take you guys into frog pose next, which is one, if you have towels to put underneath your knees, will be super helpful. So you're going to come into a tabletop posture. I'm going to demo first, and then we'll have Stefan demo. So knees are going to start coming out to the side, and you're going to start to ease your hips back. You don't want to think about dropping your chest down. You want to actually stay pretty upright here and push the hips back as much as you can. My knees are bent at a 90-degree angle. My toes and my feet are flexed, and I'm just trying to push my hips back here. If this is not something that is super comfortable for you, one, I'm sorry, you're still going to have to do it. But two, realize you don't have to go like fully splatted out like a frog. Like that's really tight on my hips right now. If you need to back out of it slightly, you can bring your feet together. So rather than having my knees bent at a 90-degree angle, I'm going to bring my toes in, and I'm going to push back a little more. So more similar to what your child's pose would be, with just a little more force. Can you try frog pose?
Yeah, sure.
All right. This is a place where I suggest having a block or a bolster nearby to rest your hands on. Yep. Don't bring your chest down. This is a lot less about the chest being down and much more about pushing the hips back. Yeah. And because he's here, I can adjust him.
Not very far, you can't.
I can help make sure he doesn't shortchange the posture.
I don't want to drop my short change either. Fuck. Why I look towards the door. The pain.
This can be very intense for a lot of people.
Yeah.
If you need to back out of it, just go ahead. There's no graceful way to come out of it. Just allow the weight to shift forward and essentially allow yourself to plop onto the ground. As Stefan has so adequately demoed a plop.
My hip. Okay.
Very nice.
Thank you.
You're going to roll onto your back. Everyone's favorite posture. So, supine cobbler's pose. Soles of your feet are going to come together. You're going to butterfly your knees. So, soles of your feet are going to come together. Knees will drop out. Just pull your feet out a little further. So, we're making a little bit more of a diamond versus a true butterfly pose where your heels are really close in towards your groin. You want your heels a little further out. This is another very passive way to get into your hips. You good here?
Yep. That's mine.
Now, if you need more hip action, this is a really great place where you can grab a block or a bolster and put your hips on a block or a bolster just to elevate them slightly. We're rolling around on our carpet. I promise I have vacuumed this at least probably 6 or 7 times since quarantine has started.
Not more.
I run out of things to do, so I vacuum. And I hate vacuuming. So this is a place where a block or bolster, the next series of poses are going to be super helpful. I'm going to X-nay just because my battery is kind of like giving me the warning signal of don't move me too far. So what we're going to do for here, to mimic that leg up the wall posture, we're going to bring our knees together. You can ease them in yourself. You're going to come fully laying on your back, knees together. Bring your hips in towards your heels. We're setting up for bridge. So feet are hips width distance apart. Heels are in towards your bum. And this is where that block or bolster is going to come in handy because we're going to bridge the hips up and just slide a block or bolster underneath and allow your hips to rest. Do you need to adjust that a little further down or is that okay there?
It's good.
First shot. So this is a very passive bridge pose. It is to help set up for a version of leg up the wall without having your legs up a wall. Because if you're like us, we've run out of a lot of like free wall space. We have a lot of like weird art all over the place. So we have a half wall. If you're like us, this is an option for you. We're going to bring the knees together and bend them, bringing them up in towards our chest, and then feet will extend up towards the sky.
Nope, that doesn't work for that position.
Adjust the block as needed. This is a passive shoulder stand or a supported shoulder stand. You need a softer block?
No, this block's good. Should change the angle.
What? Keep the chin tucked, breathing smooth and even. Just a few breaths here. You can allow your gaze to close, eyes to close, taking a soft gaze. We're only going to be here a few more minutes. If you don't like this and you want to back out and go back to that supported bridge, you can always back out and go to that supported bridge. I'm going to have you demo one more posture before I let everyone chill out. 3 more breaths. Stefan's ready to break, so you break. If you want more time, you take more time. We're in a bridge, lifting the hips up, sliding that block out from underneath your hips. Can I have you pivot around one more time for me? We're still doing postures on the back. Come in a lot closer towards me, towards me, towards me, towards me. There you go. And you might want to be able to stretch out. Okay. Fish pose. I've demoed fish pose. I'm going to show a supported variation. Hands are going to come up underneath your bum. And you're going to press through your forearms to lift your chest up off the mat. Legs still stay long here. No. Yeah. Lift your chest. So you're just your chest, not your head. There you go. Now let your head fall back. Let your head fall back. Let your head fall back. Allow yourself to be supported. So what I essentially did was I took.
Hey.
I've not worn a deodorant. That was probably not pleasant for him. I took a block long ways between his shoulder blades to help support his chest. That way his chest is supported so we can get a much more passive chest opener here. I'm going to add one more variation where we're going to cactus those arms open or make them like a goalpost and allow the hands to drop back as much as you can. So if you have a limited range of motion through your shoulders, because you can kind of see Stefan's hands are really far up off the ground, are you getting a little bit more chest stretch by doing that?
Yes, my chest are tight. They're all tight.
So if your chest isn't super tight, your hands might be flat on the mat or on the ground. If your chest is tight, your hands will hover. That's fine. You're just working where you're at. This is just a way to help passively open up your chest to make overhead work a little easier later down the road, and also to give you a counter pose to possibly all of the texting, typing, working on schoolwork, or hunched over with chalk drawings everyone is dealing with. Or if you are going and doing a lot more sewing and crafting, you're still probably doing a lot more of the hunch. So we're just trying to get that hunch in a counter pose. And when you're ready, make yourself comfortable. We're going to come into that final resting posture. So if you want to leave the block between your shoulders, go for it. If you want to move the block or bolster wherever it's more comfortable for you, whether it is out from underneath you entirely or supporting your hips or supporting your knees, go for it. You want it underneath your knees? Stefan wants it underneath his feet. Do you want your feet a little higher? So in this posture here, he has a block underneath his heels and a block underneath his knees. It's just a way to bring the world a little closer to you. You can do the same thing with pillows, towels, my handy dandy homemade bolster and a pillowcase. Whatever makes you feel comfortable here, do it. And I want you to notice a warmth starting at the center of your chest. Like warm honey, like you just had a hot toddy or a hot cup of tea, not like you have some heartburn going on. And allow that warmth to travel into your shoulders, relaxing your shoulders down to the mat. Allow it to travel down your arms and out your fingertips, allowing your hands to relax. We're not doing the claw hand, they're just nice and soft and open. Allow that warmth to travel down your chest into your belly. Soothing any butterflies here. I like to think of like warm peppermint tea and honey, or a hot toddy, one or the other. Allow that warmth to travel into your hips, easing your hips, releasing any tension you may feel there. Noticing how your hips are feeling now compared to the beginning of class. Allow that warmth to travel down your legs and out the soles of your feet. Allowing your legs to be completely supported, feet falling open, toes no longer scrunched. Now have that warmth travel from your chest into your neck, easing your voice. You might be doing a lot more hollering at youngins than you're used to. Maybe you're used to hollering at youngins. Allow that warmth to travel into your mouth and your jaw, allowing your jaw to hang loose. Teeth not clenched here. Maybe your mouth hangs open a little. Allow that warmth to travel from your jaw in around the sides of your temples and sides of your eyes, allowing that furrow to relax. To your forehead and out the crown of your head till you're just radiating nice, warm, tingly sensations. Allow your breath to be smooth and full. Each inhale filling you completely, each exhale pulling out what has stopped serving you. On something that gets said a lot. Whatever has stopped serving a purpose in your life. Just let it go. And if it's not something that you can really let it go, just allow it to be and allow it to be a stepping stone in your life. Not something that you hold and put in your bag and bring with you. So either with that exhale, let it go or let it be. Let that stone drop where it is. Use your inhale to smooth out any rough edges from the week. Allowing yourself to feel settled and calm. And as you're relaxing here, I do want to share something. Something that came up on my feed the other day that I really appreciated. I hope you find what you're looking for out there. I hope you find the kind of happiness that exists on your own terms. I hope you truly take the time to figure out what moves you, what encourages your soul, and what you deeply crave from life. And I hope you have the courage to chase that. I hope you have the courage to believe that you are deserving of everything you desire, that you are capable and worthy of curating the kind of life for you that sparks something within you. You have a fire inside of you. I hope you never let convenience or comfort or the easiness of standing still to put it out. I hope you show the world that you can do it with all of the passion inside of you. I hope you find the kind of love that makes you a softer person, the kind of love that makes you want to be a better human being, the kind of love that believes in you and supports you, that stands by your side. I hope you find someone or someones who become your favorite thing, someone who makes you fall less fearfully, someone you can't help but choose every single day. I hope you find someone who shows you just how deeply you can feel, just how deeply you can love. I hope you find something real, because nothing is more beautiful than loving someone who loves you back. Nothing is more beautiful than loving someone who builds a home for you in their heart. That love does not have to be a romantic or paternal love. Maternal love. It can be a platonic love. It can be a love for friends that you have so deeply, and a love towards your friends that you have that is just so deep and nurturing. We often associate love with the idea that it has to be a romantic love. Platonic love is something that is equally important in our lives. When you're ready to move, make your movements small, make them gentle. Notice the feeling of the soles of your feet. Notice your toes. Notice your ankles and your shins. Notice your knees and your hips. Notice your belly and your chest. Notice your fingertips and your shoulders, your forearms, your biceps, maybe your triceps. Notice your voice. Notice the sense of smell around you and the feeling of the world underneath you or around you. And when you notice your whole body, the way everything feels, and you're ready to start moving again, move. If you're not ready to move, don't move. Don't let me rush you. Don't let anybody rush you. Unless you're your kid and they have to go to the bathroom and you're still potty training. Then you might want to rush. And I'm going to close class the way I like to close my physical practices. Bring my hands together. I'm going to start at my forehead for kind thoughts, my mouth for kind words, and my heart for good intentions. Thank you so much for joining me in today's class or coming back and viewing this. See you guys later. I'm going to awkwardly get really close to the computer now.